Greetings, Tezos Nation. I'm Stu from the Tezos Commons. Joining me today is Nestor Amesty del Moral from dOrg, aka dOrg, the partner organization working with Tezos Commons, among others, to develop Homebase, the one-stop shop user interface that's bringing DAOs to the masses. As always, we'll be giving away a Tezos branded Nano Ledger to one lucky viewer during the stream. Today's winner will also receive a very special bonus prize, so stay tuned for details about that and keep an ear out for the keyword later on during the stream. Hi, Nestor. How are things in Madrid?
Hi, Stu. Things in Madrid are going great. I think the weather's actually really nice at the moment. So yeah, everything's cool. Thank you for
Awesome.
asking.
To get the ball rolling, can you tell us a little bit about your background and your journey into the crypto universe?
Right. So I have a background in computer science. I live in Madrid, but I'm actually originally from Venezuela. I lived there for many years. I was born and raised there, and so when the economical crisis got worse than it was before, it's like crypto appeared as an escape valve for many people. So I was exposed to crypto in 2017, early 2017, late 2016, mostly to Bitcoin since it was very big. And after that, like many freelancers started like getting paid there for remote work in crypto, and I was freelancing at the time, so I was paid in crypto at the time. So that's what stimulated me to explore more about the Web3 world and everything. um
Was
so I
that
think
was
that's
that
that.
a common thing in Venezuela at that time?
It was because at the time Venezuelans couldn't have a bank account in foreign currency, so you needed like something else, right? And crypto appeared to be like a really good alternative to that. So then I moved to Madrid in 2019, and that's when I was introduced to dOrg or dOrg by a friend from college. And from there on, they are the cool organization I'm working with ever since. I do
Okay.
mostly development front end work, Web3 integrations, and yeah.
So, what inspired you to get involved with Homebase?
Right. So I like at dOrg, and for myself, this is also true. We have a particular interest in DAOs as a means to empower communities. So we see DAOs for more than they could probably do at their minimal version, but rather like the big meaning and mission that there is behind a community that can govern itself without the need for a third party or an authority that exerts like decision making or power without maybe involving the whole community. So we have actually had like this great inspiration to build out tooling, and so when I heard about Tezos, I was really interested in trying to be part of the DAO building on Tezos, like from the start, from the beginning.
Okay. So, for those who might not be super familiar with it, can you give us an explanation of what a DAO is?
Right. So a DAO is an acronym which stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization. So those are big words. So uh, what do they actually mean? And it's an organization whose rules are written in smart contracts which are deployed on the blockchain. So every operation, every rule, every transaction that you do within your organization, whether it is to move funds, set rules, or anything like that, has to go through a blockchain transaction, which means that no member can ever perform an action without this being public, transparent, and auditable. And DAOs have evolved to have like more complex governance mechanisms. So what we call a DAO now is actually a structure which is a bit more complex. So we have voting and governance mechanisms. So if if DAOs want to take an action, like for example, pool funds for a particular investment, and then they want to move the funds, these actions of moving funds or accumulating them or pooling them or transferring them to somebody has to go through a voting process.
Hmm.
The actual mechanics of how the vote weighs work, or how the delay periods work is something that changes from DAO to DAO. But the short gist of it is it's an organization whose rules and mechanisms are written in the blockchain to prevent the need for a third party to execute decisions and to promote transparency among the community.
Okay. And what part does Homebase play in that process?
Right. So Homebase gives the opportunity for anybody to create a DAO on Tezos. And that means that people could create a DAO on Homebase for their communities and start, for example, managing funds collectively. Like if they're a community that has, for example, certain funds that they want to manage in a decentralized way, there is no more need for like this usual council to decide like how the funds are going to be spent, but rather have all of that through governance, like democratic processes. So Homebase is an enabler of this.
So can you tell me if I understand correctly, what you guys offer is templates upon which to build and customize DAOs?
So not quite,
Okay.
because so Homebase is an application that it's built on top of a framework. Um, and what we call templates on Homebase are actually templates on the framework. So that means that Homebase actually offers like an already working out of the box solution for users or communities that want to create DAOs. So it's not like users select a template that they later have to build upon, but rather they just choose the type of DAO that they would like. They configure their governance parameters and mechanisms, and then it gets deployed, and that's it. Um, yeah.
Can you give us any examples of specific problems that this would solve?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are like many use cases for DAOs in general. But currently Homebase currently offers a treasury DAO, which is a DAO for the collective management of funds, and a registry DAO, which is a DAO that can collectively manage a key value store of arbitrary data. So if say you have a community or you're part of a community that wants to receive funds or donations, you should probably create a treasury DAO to handle that. Or let's say that you have a charity organization or foundation, you could receive funds in your DAO and then distribute them collectively. Or let's say that, for example, you have an NFT marketplace or an NFT registry of the sort. You could curate those NFTs through a registry DAO on Homebase. So, like like that, we could solve like many other use cases that come to mind. But those are the ones that I have like off the top of my head.
Well, there's not really conceptually there's not really a limit to the type of things this tool could do, right?
Right. Like conceptually, like mechanisms could get like more sophisticated, and the types of DAOs built on top of the framework could get like more, like even more functionality. So at a conceptual level, there is no limit on what the tool could do to empower the communities in terms of tangible actions on the community.
Okay. I understand you're going to do a demo for us today. We're all really excited to see that. But before we get into the nitty gritty here, are you ready to do the soon to be famous TezTalks lightning round?
Absolutely.
Okay. Just before
I,
we, yeah, go ahead.
no, yeah, go ahead.
Just before we do that, I'm going to announce today's keyword for the live stream giveaway. Today we're giving away the Tezos branded Nano Ledger and a free NFT from our friends over at Cumulus, a Tezos NFT project focused on water preservation. Cumulus will be minting 5,000 handmade NFTs on October 12th, and 30% of the funds raised from the sale will go to a water preservation NGO chosen by the community, which is very, very cool stuff. Today's keyword is !DAO. Just enter the keyword !DAO in the live stream chat, and Nightbot will randomly select today's winner. And we'll announce them before the end of the stream. Okay, Nestor, it's lightning round time. Remember, there are no wrong answers here, and it's just for fun, so our listeners can get to know you a little bit better. Are you ready?
Yeah, ready.
Fish or chicken?
Fish.
Mountains or beaches?
Mountains.
Cats or dogs?
Cats, absolutely.
Are you single or taken?
Taken, sadly.
True or false? Money buys happiness.
False.
Name one thing you absolutely want to do before you die.
Skydiving.
The last place you traveled was?
Barcelona.
In 5 words or less, how would your best friend describe you?
Smart but quirky.
Nice. And finally, movies or video games?
Video games, absolutely.
Okay. Excellent answers. This concludes the TezTalks lightning round. Are you ready to do the demo for us?
Yeah, for
Awesome.
sure. Okay. So my screen can't be seen, right?
It can, yes.
Okay, great. So we are at Homebase at Explorer screen, and the process is really simple. So we go to create a DAO, and we go to this screen where we can select a template. So these are the two templates that I was talking about earlier. So we have a treasury DAO and we have a registry DAO. It is important to note that registry DAOs also have treasury functionality. So if you want to, for example, curate an NFT registry, but you also would like to collectively manage funds, you would also choose a registry. But let's go with the treasury, given that it's a bit more popular. Um, so these are the DAO settings. Like everything here is aimed to be simple. So you have to choose a token that you would like to use as a governance token. And what does that mean? That means that you need to hold this token to have voting power in the DAO. And this is the token that you would stake in order to vote for decisions and to create proposals and so. So let's go with this one. This is all testnet, by the way. I deployed my own token and so. So here, let's call this DAO TezDAO. TZD as a symbol. DAO for Tezos. And then we have the administrator and the guardian. Like, what exactly do these roles do? It's mostly just maintenance. It has like a deeper explanation on the documentation, but nor the administrator nor the guardian can take decisions over the funds or assets or configuration of the DAO without governance processes. But for example, guardians and administrator are able to hide or drop expired or failed proposals and other maintenance actions of the such. Like more info can be found again on the docs. After that, we click on continue, and here is where we configure the proposals and voting parameters. So basically, DAOs and Homebase operate a lot like as Tezos in general. So we have the cycles mechanisms, and here is where we decide like how many levels are our cycles going to last in levels or blockchain blocks. Let's go with 20. And then the proposal execution delay is how many levels or blocks have to pass before a past proposal can be executed. So let's go with 45. And then the proposal expiration threshold is how many blocks or levels have to pass for a proposal to become expired and yet and so unexecutable. Let's go with a nice comfy number like 100. Then required stake to propose is the amount of tokens that we need to stake in order to make the proposal. We can go with 5. Then if the proposal fails, you get a part of your stake tokens back, but not all of them. And this is to prevent spamming, replay attacks, and so. Let's go with 50%. And then the min and max XTZ amounts that can be transferred in a proposal. We can leave the minimum at 0 and put the max at 1,000. Then we configure the quorum. And basically, the quorum is a percentage of the governance tokens total supply that needs to be met in votes so that a proposal can be considered passed. These fancy numbers and percentages that you see here are basically the initial quorum threshold, the minimum quorum threshold, and the max quorum threshold. And you would say, if I'm setting it to 2%, why do I need minimum and maximum? And this is because period by period or cycle by cycle, quorum gets adjusted based on participation. So that means that if you set your quorum too high and people are not voting enough for proposals to pass, then the quorum gets adjusted to a lower number.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to get anything done.
Exactly. And it is exactly to prevent things from getting done in your DAO, and also because we know that calculating an exact quorum value for your community can be hard, especially at the beginning. Then the quorum max change is the maximum amount that the quorum can get adjusted to in terms of percentage in period by period. So I'll leave this as it is with 2%. Then we go to a screen where we see like all of the information that we have selected. And if everything's fine, we can click on launch. We connect if we haven't already. And then first we deploy the metadata carrier contract. So you're going to have to sign 2 transactions here. The first one is a contract that contains the metadata of the DAO. The DAO's name, its symbol, its description, its like all of this like meta information. And after this gets deployed, we will actually deploy the DAO contract. After that, we just need to wait, and we'll be all set. This might take probably 2 or 3 minutes because we are going at blockchain speed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, and this is it. Like basically, when you get to this screen, it's just sign, and then you just wait.
So all the steps are sort of laid out there, and you've got your DAO. Okay.
Exactly.
Very cool.
And when you actually have your DAO already deployed, it will look just like this. And you will be able to perform all of the actions that you would like, create proposals if you like to, see in which cycle you're at, how many levels are left for the cycle to expire, and so and so, and that's it.
How long has this been live?
This has been live for about I think for about a month, or maybe a month and a half. When we released our alpha, we had a demo before this, which was a more of like a pre-alpha demo, which was live since July. But yeah,
What kind of response have you guys seen?
we've seen a pretty good response. So, want me to keep sharing, or is it okay if?
I think we can jump out. That was pretty clear.
All right, cool. Yeah, so the response we've gotten has been pretty positive. There are already, I think, 6 or 7 communities that have created DAOs on mainnet. And we expect even more communities to progressively migrate their decisions and mechanisms to Homebase.
Okay. We've got a viewer question here. Is it possible to combine Homebase with TZ profiles, or even better with DIDs? This would solve the old problem of one user, one vote.
Yes. It is definitely possible. The integration with teaser profiles is currently under works, and DID is certainly something that we can explore, but it is possible given the current foundations of the architecture.
And we have another one. How does Homebase differ from other protocols?
Right. So if you ask from a protocol standpoint, I think that Homebase isn't quite a protocol. But if you mean like a decentralized application, it differs in the sense of what it does, which is giving democratic governance mechanisms to communities. And if you're asking like how does this differ from other DAO protocols that exist on other blockchains, um, basically what Homebase is the most different at is in its adjustable quorum mechanism, which is something that greatly differs from other DAO protocols that I know from other blockchains, and the cycle mechanisms, which emulates Tezos in itself.
Okay. Do you see a future where grants, even something like the Tezos Foundation Treasury, could be community governed through a DAO on Homebase?
I think so. Like at the moment, DAO Homebase already provides what you need to create a DAO that could receive funds from anywhere, and then they could be collectively managed. So if you wanted to create a DAO that would be funded by the Tezos Foundation, and then you would like to distribute these funds, um, you could definitely do that like right now.
Cool.
Yeah.
Are there any upcoming feature sets or improvements in the pipeline you could share that would move us further along?
Absolutely. So I think that the first one and most important out of those is NFT management. It is something that it's actually on QA at the moment, but it has already been developed. So users will be able to transact with NFTs collectively, manage NFTs, and also do batch transfers of NFTs. So that's one, and we're also working on a UI revamp in terms of styling, so that it looks even more modern. So uh, So there's that, and also we're working on creating a more generic DAO so that users could have like some space for their own customization. Um, so those are the main three things that we have in the works at the moment.
Awesome. We have one more viewer question before we announce the contest winner here. What function defines the relationship between quorum change and quorum threshold?
Yes, so that's actually a very good question. I'll send you the link so that you can post it of the base DAO framework documentation. There you have the complete formula that defines the relationship between that and all of the other formula that you might see but might not be obvious on how that's calculated on the background. So yeah.
Okay. So the winner of the Cumulus NFT and the Tezos branded nano ledger is a technology hangover. So the moderator will message you, and then you'll confirm your identity, and then we'll get those sent over to you as soon as we can. Just quickly before we wrap up here, we can be contacted at http tezoscommons.org/TezTalks. There you can find our LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram links. Nestor, thanks so much for joining us today. It's always awesome to speak to the folks behind the scenes, building tools like Homebase that are growing the Tezos ecosystem and keeping us at the forefront of the blockchain revolution. Is there anything you'd like to announce or mention before we get to signing off here?
Yeah, so I would like to say that that Homebase is still on its early stages. So what you're seeing is just an entree of what's to come. Not only for Homebase as an application, but for Tezos as a whole ecosystem. And I think this could be very positive and empowering for the Tezos community in general.
Wicked. Just to clarify, technology hangover, email us at social@tezoscommons.org and we'll sort you out with that prize. Thanks so much, Nestor. That was awesome stuff. To everyone out there in Tezos land, thanks for joining us on the TezTalks live stream. I'm Stu from the Tezos Commons, and our awesome guest has been Nestor Amesty Del Moral from dOrg, aka dOrg. Now let's go decentralize some autonomous organizations.